The Bad Dream. Daddy, I had a bad dream. You blink your eyes and pull up on your elbows. Your clock glows red in the darkness. It's 3:23. Do you want to climb into bed and tell me about it? No, Daddy. The oddness of the situation wakes you up more fully. You can barely make out your daughter's pale form in the darkness of your room. Why not, sweetie? Because in my dream, when I told you about the dream, the thing wearing Mommy's skin sat up. For a moment, you feel paralyzed. You can't take your eyes off of your daughter. The covers behind you begin to shift. Him. I've been lying down for hours now. It's 5:35 a.m. and there's not much I can do. You know what the worst part about my situation is? I'm in the same room with my parents. They keep looking at me, and I can't help but look back and try not to scream. Their eyes are focused on me and their mouths are wide open. There's the strong sense of blood and I feel so paralyzed with fear. Here's the thing. The second I make any hint that I'm not asleep anymore, I'm completely fucked. I will die and there's nobody around to save me. I've been trying to think of a way out, but the only idea I have is to rush the door and run outside while screaming for help, hoping any neighbors will hear me. It's risky, but if I stay here, I'll surely die. He's waiting for me to wake up and see his masterpiece. You're probably wondering what's going on. I do get ahead of myself sometimes. About 3 hours ago, I heard screaming from the other side of the house. I got up and went to check on the noise before realizing I had to use the restroom. Instead of doing the smart thing and investigating, I used the bathroom first. I could have gotten myself killed right then from my stupid actions. But I actually did my business and took a look outside the bathroom. There was blood on the carpet. I got very worried and ran back to my room, hiding under my sheets like the pussy I was. I tried to convince myself to go back to sleep, that this was just some really vivid dream or something. I heard my bathroom door open. Like the terrified child I was, I peeked from under my covers to see what was going on. I could see something dragging my dead parents into the room. It was not human, I can tell you that. It was hairless, with no eyes and no clothing. It walked like a caveman, with its back slouched as it dragged my parents. But this thing was much smarter than any caveman. It was aware of what it was doing. It propped my dad on the edge of my bed and made him face me. It then sat my mother down in the chair and positioned her to me as well. It then started rubbing its hands upon the walls, staining them with blood, and then drew circles with the devil's pentagram in it. This thing had made what it would probably call a masterpiece. To finish it off, it scribbled a message onto the wall that I could not read in the darkness. It then positioned itself under my bed, waiting to strike. The scariest thing is now, my eyes have adjusted to the darkness since then, and I can read the message on the wall. I don't want to look at it, because it's terrifying to think about, but I feel I need to see, before I'm killed. I peek at the creature's masterpiece. I know you're awake. In the kitchen, a young girl is playing in her bedroom. She hears her mother call to her from the kitchen, so she runs downstairs to meet her mother. As she's running through the hallway, the door to the cupboard under the stairs opens, and a hand reaches out and pulls her in. It's her mother. She whispers to her child, "Don't go into the kitchen." I heard it too. Upstairs. When I was a child, I lived in a rented 2-floor house. Both of my parents worked, so I was often alone when I came school. One early evening when I came home, the house was still dark. I called out, "Mom," and heard a voice say, "Yes," from upstairs. I called my mom again, and again got the same "Yes" reply. I felt she was calling back at me and climbed up the stairs. When I reached the first floor, I called her once more, and the voice, "Yes," came from the furthest room. I felt both uneasy, but felt a strong urge to see my mother. I started to walk towards the room, but just as I was about to open the door into the room, I heard the front door downstairs open and my mother come in, carrying a lot of shopping bags. "Sweetie, are you home?" my mother called in a cheery voice. Hearing her voice made me feel instantly better, and I turned back to go downstairs at once, but not before I had a quick glance towards the room. While I watched from the top of the stairs, the door to the room slowly opened a crack. For a brief moment, I saw something strange in there. A pale face staring at me.